Hana Kim guided her cargo ship through the docking bay with practiced ease. The massive station floated in the darkness of space like a small city made of metal and glass. She had been here dozens of times before, always for the same reason: drop off supplies, renew her visa, and get back to work. It was boring, but boring meant safe, and safe meant she could keep flying. The docking clamps locked onto her ship with a solid thunk that vibrated through the hull. Hana powered down the engines and grabbed her identification tablet. She stretched her arms above her head, feeling her spine pop after the long flight. Another routine stop at the Galactic Council station. Nothing special. She walked down the ramp into the busy docking bay. Aliens of every shape and size moved around her. Some walked on two legs like her. Others floated, crawled, or slithered. A few were so strange she could not even tell which end was the front. After 5 years of hauling cargo across council space, she barely noticed anymore. The immigration checkpoint was the same as always. A bored-looking official with 4 eyes and blue skin waved her forward. Hana placed her hand on the scanner and waited. The machine hummed softly. "Cargo pilot," the official said, reading from his screen. "Visa renewal, standard medical scan. Proceed to medical facility, section 7. Hana nodded and followed the glowing signs on the floor. The medical facility was clean and bright, filled with equipment she did not understand. A woman in a white coat looked up from her desk and smiled. Her name tag said Dr. Mireille Choi in human letters. "Another human," Dr. Choi said warmly. "Good to see a familiar face. Please sit down. This will only take a moment." Hana sat in the examination chair. A mechanical arm extended from the ceiling holding a small device that looked like a silver ring. Dr. Choi tapped commands into her tablet. "Just a basic DNA scan," she explained. "Standard procedure for visa renewal. The council likes to keep track of who is coming and going. Nothing to worry about." The silver ring descended and circled around Hana's head, emitting a soft blue light. She felt nothing. The whole process took maybe 10 seconds. Dr. Choi glanced at her tablet, then froze. Her smile vanished. "That cannot be right," she muttered. She tapped the screen several times, then looked at the scanning device. "Run it again," she told the machine. The silver ring circled Hana's head a second time. Dr. Choi stared at her tablet, her face growing pale. "Is something wrong?" Hana asked, feeling a twist of worry in her stomach. "Stay here," Dr. Choi said quickly. She hurried out of the room, leaving Hana alone with the humming medical equipment. Hana sat in the chair, her worry growing into real fear. She had been healthy at her last checkup 6 months ago. What could a simple DNA scan find that would make a doctor react like that? Dr. Choi returned with 2 other doctors, one with tentacles and one that looked like a walking plant. They spoke in low, urgent voices while looking at the tablet. Then they all stared at Hana like she was some kind of puzzle they could not solve. "Ms. Kim," Dr. Choi said carefully, "I need to ask you some questions. Have you ever been exposed to genetic modification? Any experimental treatments? Anything unusual in your family history?" "No," Hana said. "I am just a regular person." "Why, what did you find?" Before Dr. Choi could answer, alarms began blaring throughout the medical facility. Red lights flashed on the walls. The plant-like doctor's leaves rustled in agitation. "Security protocol activated," a mechanical voice announced. "Biological anomaly detected. Section 7 is now in lockdown." Heavy doors slammed shut at every exit. Hana jumped to her feet. "What is happening?" "Your DNA scan triggered an alert in the Galactic Archive," Dr. Choi said. Her voice was steady, but her hands shook slightly. "The system found something that should not exist." A squad of security officers burst into the room, weapons drawn. They wore armor that covered their various alien bodies completely. One of them pointed at Hana. "Detain the human, by order of the council." "Wait," Hana raised her hands. "I did not do anything." "Come peacefully," the lead officer said. His voice sounded like grinding rocks. "We have questions." They put restraints on her wrists. Not painful, but firm. The security officers led her through corridors filled with staring aliens. Hana felt her face burn with embarrassment and fear. What could be in her DNA that would cause this? They brought her to a holding cell. It was small but clean, with a bench and a toilet. The door sealed behind her with a hiss. She sat down, her mind racing. This had to be a mistake. Some computer error. They would figure it out and let her go. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time felt strange in the windowless cell. Finally, the door opened. A man in a council uniform stepped inside. His name tag read Commander Taeyang Park. He looked tired and worried. "Hana Kim," he said. "I am the Senior Human Liaison Officer for the Council. I am here to help you, but first I need to understand what is going on." "That makes two of us," Hana said. "I came here for a visa renewal. Now I am in a cell." Taeyang sat down across from her. "The DNA scan found genetic markers in your blood. 3 of them. They match species listed in the archive under the classification Extinct Apex Predator." Hana blinked. "What does that mean?" "It means your DNA contains traces of 3 different predator species from Earth's past. Species that were at the top of their food chains. The archive identified them as Tyrannosaurus rex, Megalodon, and Smilodon." He paused. "Do you know what those are?" "Dinosaur, shark, and a big cat with fangs," Hana said slowly. "But that is impossible. Those animals died millions of years ago." "Exactly. And no species in Council records has ever shown genetic heritage from multiple apex predators. Ever. The Council is—" He searched for the right word. "Alarmed." "But humans evolved from those things, right?" Hana said. "We share ancestors with all life on Earth. Most Council species evolved in stable environments," Taeyang explained. "They have one clear evolutionary path. Earth had multiple extinction events, ice ages, asteroid impacts. Your planet's history is violent in a way most worlds never experienced. The Council did not fully understand what that meant for human evolution until now." The door opened again. A tall alien with an insect-like body entered. His shell was dark green and his eyes were multifaceted. "Commander Park, the Council demands the humans' presence immediately. Ambassador Velthar has called an emergency session." Taeyang stood. "She has rights. She deserves representation. She will have it. But the Council will have answers first." Velthar's voice clicked and buzzed. "This matter concerns the safety of the entire station." They led Hana through the station's corridors. Aliens stopped and stared. Some backed away. Others whispered to each other. Word had spread fast. By the time they reached the Council chambers, Hana felt like a monster on display. The chamber was huge, with seating arranged in circles that rose toward the ceiling. Hundreds of aliens looked down at her. At the center was a raised platform. They brought her there and told her to stand. Bright lights made it hard to see the faces watching her. A voice boomed from above. "Human cargo pilot Hana Kim. You stand before the Galactic Council to answer questions regarding your genetic composition. This tribunal will determine whether humanity has violated Council protocols regarding biological warfare, genetic modification, or species classification fraud." Hana's mouth went dry. "I did not do anything wrong." "That," the voice said coldly, "is what we are here to determine." The lights in the Council chamber were too bright. Hana stood on the platform, feeling small under the gaze of hundreds of alien representatives. Her wrists were still bound, though Taeyang had argued loudly against it. He stood beside her now, his jaw tight with anger. A figure emerged from the shadows at the edge of the chamber. He was tall and covered in scales that gleamed like polished stone. His eyes were yellow with vertical pupils. When he moved, it was with the smooth precision of something built to hunt. "I am Inquisitor Draven," he announced. His voice carried easily across the vast space. "I serve as Chief of Security for this station. Today I will be asking the questions." He walked around Hana in a slow circle, studying her like she was a specimen under glass. "Human, you claim ignorance of your genetic anomaly. Yet the evidence is clear. Your DNA contains markers from 3 extinct apex predators. This is not natural evolution. This is modification." "I was born like this," Hana said, trying to keep her voice steady. "I never had any genetic work done. I am just a cargo pilot." "Just a cargo pilot," Draven repeated mockingly. "Yet you carry the heritage of a creature that hunted in packs and brought down prey 10 times its size. A creature that ruled the oceans and could bite through bone like paper. A creature with claws and teeth designed to tear through flesh." He stopped in front of her. "Do you expect the Council to believe this is coincidence?" Before Hana could answer, a door at the side of the chamber opened. A woman rushed in, carrying several data tablets. She wore glasses, and her hair was pulled back in a tight bun. "Forgive my interruption, Inquisitor. I am Dr. Ji-Won Lee, human geneticist. I was summoned from Earth to provide expert testimony." Draven waved a clawed hand dismissively. "Very well. Explain this impossibility." Dr. Lee approached the platform and gave Hana a quick, reassuring nod. Then she activated a holographic display above them. Images of Earth appeared, rotating slowly. Members of the Council, what you are seeing is not genetic modification. It is evolutionary inheritance. Earth's history is unique among known worlds. The hologram changed, showing a timeline. 65 million years ago, an asteroid struck Earth. It killed the dominant species, the dinosaurs. But mammals survived. We carried forward certain traits from the age of reptiles, traits coded in our DNA from the very beginning of life on our planet. An alien with feathers covering its body spoke up. Counselor Hyoran of the Avian Collective. Dr. Lee, are you suggesting humans descended from these dinosaurs? Not directly, Dr. Lee explained. But life on Earth shares common ancestors. When the dinosaurs ruled, early mammals lived in their shadow. We competed with them, hid from them, and learned from them. When they died, we inherited their world. Our DNA remembers that time. The hologram shifted again, showing oceans and massive shark-like creatures. The megalodon lived millions of years ago. But humans have aquatic ancestors. Early in our evolution, we spent time in water. We developed the ability to hold our breath, to dive, to swim efficiently. These are traits inherited from creatures that came before us, including ancient predators of the sea. Draven crossed his arms. And the third creature? The fanged cat? Smilodon, Dr. Lee said. Saber-toothed cats. They lived alongside early humans. We competed for the same prey. We fought them, studied them, and ultimately outlasted them. But the evolutionary pressure they created shaped us. Our strategic thinking, our pack-hunting techniques, our ability to plan and work together against stronger foes, these developed because of predators like Smilodon. The chamber filled with murmuring voices. Aliens spoke to each other in dozens of languages. The hologram showed Earth's violent history. Ice ages, volcanic eruptions, more asteroid impacts, mass extinctions. Your world is chaos, said a blob-like alien with 3 stalked eyes. My species evolved in peace. Stable climate. No predators. We developed intelligence through cooperation alone. Most of us did, added another voice. This human world is an aberration. Dr. Lee nodded slowly. Earth is unusual. We know this, but it made us what we are. Every extinction event was a filter. Species that could not adapt died. Those that survived passed on their advantages. Humans are the result of millions of years of this process. We are not just one predator's descendants. We carry traces of all of them. Draven moved to the center of the platform. This explanation changes nothing. Perhaps the modification is natural rather than artificial, but the result is the same. This human and all humans carry predator genetics that exceed safe parameters. They are dangerous. Dangerous. Taeyang stepped forward, his face flushed. Humans have been part of the Council for 20 years. We have never shown aggression. We trade, we negotiate, we help. When the station on Kelvin Prime needed supplies after that solar storm, who delivered them? Human cargo pilots. When the plague hit the mining colony, who sent medical teams? Human doctors. Past behavior does not guarantee future behavior, Draven said coldly. Predators are patient. An elderly alien floated forward. His body was semi-transparent and he glowed faintly. I am Counselor Hyoran of the Avian Collective. I wish to speak. His voice was gentle but carried authority. I have studied human culture since they joined the Council. They have art, philosophy, complex moral systems. They debate right and wrong constantly. This does not sound like simple predators to me. Camouflage, Draven insisted. Social behavior that hides their true nature. Or, said another voice, social behavior that controls their true nature. An alien with multiple arms gestured at the display. Look at their history. Yes, they have wars, but they also have peace. They create laws to limit violence. They build societies where predator instincts are channeled into sport, competition, and art. They understand what they are and choose to be something else. Hana listened to them argue about her species like she was not even there. It made her angry. Can I speak? She asked loudly. The chamber fell silent. Draven turned his yellow eyes on her. Very well. Defend yourself. Hana took a breath. I am not a monster. Yes, maybe my DNA has these markers. I did not know that until today. But I know who I am. I haul cargo. I deliver medicine to stations that need it. Last month I transported refugees from a war zone. I could have charged them, but I did not. I just got them to safety. She looked around at the sea of alien faces. You are afraid of what I might do because of my genetics. But I am not my genetics. None of us are. We all choose our actions. Every day I choose to help people instead of hurt them. Is that not what matters? Pretty words, Draven said. But when your predator instincts activate, will you still choose peace? I already do, Hana said quietly. Every day. You think being human is easy? We feel anger. We feel aggression. We have instincts that tell us to fight when threatened. But we do not. We control it, so we choose not to. That is what makes us people, not animals. Counselor Huron nodded slowly. A fair point. Perhaps we should consider intent and action rather than genetic potential. No, Draven said firmly. The risk is too great. I move that humans be reclassified as a danger species. They should be restricted from council space until we can properly study and contain this threat. The chamber erupted in arguments. Some aliens agreed with Draven. Others defended humanity. Taeyang tried to shout over the noise. Dr. Lee frantically pulled up more data to support her position. A loud tone silenced them all. At the highest seat, a figure stood. It was difficult to see clearly through the bright lights, but the voice that spoke carried absolute authority. This tribunal is adjourned until tomorrow. The human will remain in detention while the council considers the evidence. We will reconvene when a decision has been reached. The lights dimmed. Security officers moved toward Hana. As they led her away, she caught Taeyang's eye. He looked frustrated and helpless. Back in her cell, Hana sat on the bench and put her head in her hands. She thought about her ship sitting in the docking bay. She thought about the colonies waiting for their supplies. She thought about how a simple visa renewal had turned her life upside down. She did not feel like an apex predator. She felt like a scared woman far from home, judged for something she had not chosen and could not change. Outside her cell, alarms began to blare. The alarms were different this time. Not the controlled beeping of a security alert, but a harsh wailing that made Hana's teeth hurt. Red emergency lights flashed in the corridors outside her cell. She pressed her face against the small window in the door. What is happening? She shouted, but no one answered. The sounds of weapons fire echoed through the station. Screams followed. Not human screams, these were the sounds of aliens in panic. Something heavy crashed into a wall nearby, shaking her cell. The door suddenly hissed open. Taeyang stood there, his face streaked with sweat. He was holding a weapon. Come with me, now. What is going on? Hana rushed out into the corridor. The Vrokesh. Taeyang pulled her along as they ran. Raider species. They hit the station 10 minutes ago. Security's getting slaughtered. They rounded a corner and nearly ran into a group of alien security officers. These were not the calm professionals from before. They huddled behind an overturned cargo container, their weapons trained down the hallway. One of them was bleeding purple blood from a wound in its side. They are unstoppable, the injured one gasped. Nothing we do slows them down. A roar echoed from somewhere ahead. It was not a sound any human throat could make. Then came the thunder of heavy footsteps. Something big was coming. Fall back, the security officer shouted. His team retreated, firing wildly over their shoulders. Around the corner came something out of a nightmare. It was vaguely humanoid but stood 8 feet tall. Its skin was covered in thick bony plates, forearms each ending in claws the size of knives. Its head was mostly mouth filled with teeth designed for tearing. The Vrokesh raider saw them and charged. Taeyang fired his weapon. The energy bolt hit the creature's chest and scorched the plating but did not stop it. The raider swung one massive arm and sent 2 security officers flying into the wall. They did not get up. Hana felt something awaken inside her. A coldness, a clarity. Time seemed to slow. She watched the Vrokesh move and understood its pattern. It was strong and armored, but it committed fully to each attack. That was a weakness. Left, she shouted at Taeyang. He dove left without questioning. The raider's claws missed him by inches. In that moment, while the creature was extended and off balance, Hana grabbed a piece of broken metal from the floor and drove it into the joint where the raider's armor plates met at the neck. The Vrokesh roared and staggered. Taeyang fired 3 more shots into the wound. This time the creature fell, twitching. The remaining security officers stared at Hana in shock. How did you know to do that? One of them asked. Hana looked at her hands. They were steady. She felt calm, focused. I do not know. I just saw it. A voice crackled over Taeyang's radio. All human personnel report to Command Center. Emergency authorization Omega-7. They ran through corridors filled with smoke and chaos. Bodies lay in the hallways. Aliens who had not made it to safety. The sounds of fighting came from all directions. The Vrokesh were everywhere. The command center was a large room filled with monitors and control stations. A woman in a military uniform stood at the center barking orders. Her name tag read General Borisong. She looked up as Hana and Taeyang entered. Commander Park. Good, and you must be the pilot everyone is talking about. General Song gestured to the monitors. 16 Vrokesh raiders have boarded the station. They have killed 43 security personnel and are advancing toward the council chambers. The multi-species teams cannot stop them. Why not? Taeyang asked. Because each species fights according to their own instincts, General Song explained. The avians try to strike from above. The aquatics attempt to grapple and drown enemies. The insectoids swarm in groups. Against a coordinated enemy, these individual tactics fail. She pulled up a file on the main screen. It showed DNA sequences and analysis data. Earth sent this to me an hour ago. After your scan results went public, our scientists started looking deeper. The genetic markers are not dormant. They activate under extreme stress. They enhance combat capability. You mean we become stronger when threatened? Hana asked. Not stronger. Smarter. More focused. Your predator ancestors hunted in different ways, and humans inherited all of those patterns. You can adapt your fighting style to any situation. General Song looked at the monitors showing Vrokesh rampaging through the station. We need that adaptability right now. You want us to fight them? Hana said quietly. I am authorizing the release of all detained humans and requesting volunteers. You cannot be forced, but if you choose to help, you might save thousands of lives. The door opened. More humans entered. About 20 in total. Some were security officers. Others looked like civilians, crew members, engineers, docking workers. A young man with nervous eyes stood near Hana. His name tag said Ensign Doyun Kang. I am not a soldier, Doyun said. I process shipping manifests. Neither am I, Hana said. I fly cargo ships. General Song distributed weapons. The Vrokesh evolved on a high-gravity world. They are incredibly strong and durable. They have been raiding council space for years because no single species can match them in close combat. But you are not a single species. She tapped the DNA analysis on the screen. You are the inheritors of multiple predator types. Use that, they moved out in teams of 4. Hana found herself with Taeyang, Dohyun, and a woman named Unji who worked in station maintenance. They took a route that would intercept the Vrokesh before they reached the council chambers. What is the plan? Dohyun asked, his voice shaking. Stay alive, Taeyang said grimly. They heard the raiders before they saw them. Heavy footsteps. Guttural voices speaking in a language that sounded like grinding rocks. 4 Vrokesh came around the corner, moving in a tight group. Hana felt that coldness again. Her fear did not disappear, but it moved to the background. Her mind started working in a different way. She saw the corridor, the cover points, the distances. The way the raiders moved together. Unji, cut the lights in this section, she said quietly. What? Just do it. Unji pulled out her maintenance tablet and tapped commands. The corridor lights died, plunging them into darkness. The Vrokesh roared in confusion. They had excellent eyesight in normal light, but the sudden darkness blinded them. Hana moved silently to the left. Taeyang moved right. Dohyun stayed back with Unji, ready to provide covering fire. In the darkness, Hana's other senses sharpened. She heard the raiders breathing, smelled their strange scent. She moved like something that hunted at night, patient and silent. When she fired, it was at the back of a raider's knee. The creature fell. Taeyang fired from the opposite side, hitting another raider in the eyes. The remaining 2 spun around, disoriented. Now, Hana shouted. The lights came back on. The raiders were blinded again, this time by sudden brightness. Dohyun and Unji fired together, targeting the wounds Hana and Taeyang had already made. The raiders fell. Dohyun stared at the bodies. We did it. We actually did it. Move, Taeyang said. More will come. They fought their way deeper into the station. Each encounter was different. Sometimes they ambushed the Vrokesh. Other times they were ambushed. Hana felt herself changing as they fought. Her movements became more efficient. She stopped thinking and started reacting. The cold clarity turned into something else. A savage joy in outwitting stronger opponents. It scared her, but it also kept her alive. They reached the council chambers just as a group of 10 Vrokesh were breaking through the main doors. Other human teams arrived from different directions. Without speaking, they coordinated. Some attacked from range, others moved close and targeted weak points. They did not fight like one species. They fought like many species working as one body. The Vrokesh, used to overwhelming individual opponents with strength, found themselves outmaneuvered. They roared in frustration and pain. When the last raider fell, silence filled the chamber. Hana's hands shook. The coldness was fading, replaced by the realization of what she had just done. She had hurt living things, killed them. The predator instincts that had kept her alive now made her feel sick. Taeyang put a hand on her shoulder. "You saved lives today." "I know," she whispered. "But I also enjoyed it. For a moment I enjoyed it." "That is the inheritance," he said quietly. "The instinct. But you are more than instinct. You chose to fight to protect, not to conquer. That choice matters." Through the station's communication system, a message played. "All Vrokesh raiders have been neutralized. Repeat, the station is secure." The aliens emerged slowly from their hiding places. They stared at the humans with expressions Hana could not read. Fear? Respect? Both? In the command center, General Song was already compiling reports. The final count showed 16 Vrokesh raiders dead, human casualties, 3 injured, none dead. The Vrokesh had never been stopped so completely before. "The council wants to speak with you," General Song told Hana. "All of you. But especially you. You are the one whose DNA started all of this. Now they have seen what that DNA actually means." Hana looked at her reflection in a dark monitor screen. She looked the same as before, but something had changed inside her. She had touched something ancient and violent, and it had answered. The question now was what the council would do with that knowledge. The council chamber looked different now. Scorch marks blackened the walls where weapons fire had hit. Dried blood stained the floor in places, both alien purple and the dark orange of Vrokesh. Emergency repair crews worked quietly in the corners, but the damage was too extensive to fix quickly. Hana stood on the central platform again, but this time without restraints. Taeyang stood beside her along with General Song and 5 other humans who had fought in the battle. The watching aliens looked at them differently now. The whispers had changed. Inquisitor Draven was noticeably absent. Hana heard he had been injured when the Vrokesh breached his section. Not seriously, but enough to keep him in medical care. Instead, Counselor Hyoran led the proceedings. The old avian floated to the center of the chamber, his feathers rustling softly. "We are gathered to reconsider the matter of human classification. Recent events have provided new information. The Council must decide, are humans a threat to be contained or an asset to be embraced?" A reptilian delegate rose to speak. "They proved their combat ability, but that is precisely what makes them dangerous. You saw how efficiently they killed the Vrokesh. What happens when they turn those skills on us?" "An excellent question." A new voice spoke from the entrance. An elderly human walked in, moving slowly but with dignity. He wore simple robes and carried a wooden walking stick. Behind him came a younger woman in diplomatic attire. "Forgive my interruption. I am Dr. Sun Ho-yoon, human anthropologist. This is Mira An, our cultural ambassador. We came as quickly as we could." "You were not summoned," the reptilian delegate said coldly. "No," Dr. Yoon agreed. "But the question you asked requires our expertise to answer." He gestured to Mira, who activated a holographic display. Images of human history filled the air above the platform. Not evolutionary diagrams this time, but art. Paintings, sculptures, architecture. Then writings, philosophy, poetry, laws. "You fear human predator instincts," Dr. Yoon said. "That fear is not irrational. But you are missing the most important part of human evolution. We did not just inherit the hunting instincts of apex predators. We also developed something those predators never had: complex moral reasoning." Mira expanded the display. Every human culture across all of history developed ethical frameworks, rules about when violence is acceptable and when it is not. We created laws, religions, philosophies, all designed to control our own capacity for violence. "Why?" asked an alien with crystal-like skin. "If you are apex predators, why limit yourselves?" "Because we are not pure apex predators," Dr. Yoon explained. "We are social creatures who inherited predator traits. That combination created a problem. Our instincts told us to hunt and kill, but our survival depended on cooperation within large groups. If we killed each other every time we felt threatened, we would have gone extinct. He pulled up images of ancient human societies. So we developed culture. We created stories about heroes who protected the weak rather than exploiting them. We made laws that punished murder. We taught our children that having the power to hurt someone did not give you the right to do it. Every human learns this from birth. Indoctrination, the reptilian delegate said. You suppress your true nature. No, Mira said firmly. We choose our nature. There is a difference. Suppression means the instinct is still in control, just buried. Choice means you acknowledge the instinct and decide whether to follow it. General Song stepped forward. I can speak to this from military experience. Human soldiers train for years, not just in combat, but in discipline, in knowing when to fight and when to hold back. We have the capacity for great violence, yes, but we also have centuries of tradition teaching us to use that capacity only in defense or in service of something greater. An alien shaped like a floating jellyfish pulsed different colors as it spoke, but we saw the human female enjoy combat. The security recordings show her expression. She smiled while fighting. Hana felt her face flush. It was true. In the moment, she had felt that surge of savage satisfaction. Yes, Dr. Yoon said simply. She felt the predator instinct activate. It is designed to feel good. That is how evolution rewards successful behavior. But watch the recordings after the battle ended. Watch her face when she realized what she had done. The hologram changed to show Hana after the fighting stopped, her hands shaking. The horror in her eyes. The way she had turned away from the bodies. That is conscience, Dr. Yoon said. The ability to judge your own actions and feel regret. Apex predators do not have that. A lion does not feel guilty for killing a gazelle. But humans feel guilt even for justified violence. That guilt, that moral awareness is what separates us from pure predators. An ancient being materialized at the edge of the chamber. He was semi-transparent and glowed with soft light. His voice was like wind through canyons. I am Elder Krithos. I have served the council for 300 of your years. I have seen much, but I have not spoken of certain things until now. The chamber fell silent. Elder Krithos was legendary, one of the oldest living members of any council species. Long ago, Krithos said, before most of your species joined the council, we encountered another race with predator genetics. They were called the Envaresh. Their DNA showed markers of multiple apex predators, much like these humans. The council was fascinated. We welcomed them. He paused, his glow dimming. That was a mistake. The Envaresh had no conscience, no moral framework. They saw other species as prey or as obstacles. Within 10 years, they had started conquering nearby systems. We tried diplomacy. They killed our ambassadors. We tried trade sanctions. They took what they wanted by force. The hologram shifted to show old records, battle reports, destroyed colonies. The war lasted 20 years. Thousands died before we finally stopped them. After that, the council created the extinct apex predator classification in the archive. It was meant as a warning system. Never again, we said. Never again would we let such a species grow strong in our territory. Hana felt a chill. This was why Draven had been so afraid. The council had seen this before and it had nearly destroyed them. But here is what you must understand, Krithos continued. The Envaresh evolved as pure apex predators. They hunted in their world and then they hunted among the stars. They had no concept of cooperation beyond their own species. They never needed it. He moved closer to the platform where the humans stood. These humans are different. They did not evolve as apex predators. They evolved as prey that learned from predators. They competed with apex predators and absorbed their strengths while maintaining the social cooperation of prey species. They have the hunting instinct and the pack mentality. Predator and prey united in one being. Is that not more dangerous? Someone asked. No, Krithos said. It is safer. The Envaresh never questioned their violence because they had no framework for questioning it. Humans question constantly. They debate whether wars are just. They create laws even knowing they will sometimes be the ones punished by those laws. They write stories about the terrible cost of violence even as they prepare for war. This self-awareness, this constant moral wrestling, this is what the Envaresh lacked. Mira pulled up more images. Human art showing the horrors of war, memorials to the dead, peace treaties. We are not perfect. Human history includes terrible violence, but we also spend enormous effort trying to stop that violence. We create international laws. We build organizations dedicated to peace. We teach our children that war should be the last option, not the first. Dr. Yoon nodded. When you saw Hana fight, you saw the predator. But did you also see how she fought? She targeted the raiders attacking others. She coordinated with her team. She chose targets to minimize overall harm. Even in the heat of battle, she was making moral calculations. That is uniquely human. The ability to be violent and thoughtful at the same time. Counselor Hyoran absorbed all of this in silence. Finally, he spoke. Ms. Kim, you heard all of this. What do you think? Are you a predator or something else? Hana thought about the question carefully. I think I am both. I felt those instincts during the fight. They were real and powerful. But I am also standing here wishing there had been another way. I am glad I could help protect people. But I am not glad I had to hurt others to do it. Maybe that makes me weak. No, Krithos said gently. It makes you civilized. True civilization is not the absence of capacity for violence. It is the choice to restrain that capacity. You have the power to be a predator, but you choose to be a guardian instead. That choice is what matters. The chamber filled with murmuring voices. Aliens debated among themselves. The mood had shifted. Fear was still present, but now mixed with something else. Cautious respect. I believe we have enough information, Counselor Hyoran announced. The Council will vote tomorrow on humanity's final classification. Until then, you are dismissed. As they left the chamber, Hana felt exhausted but also lighter somehow. The truth was out now. Humans were predators, but they were also more than that. Taeyang walked beside her. Whatever they decide tomorrow, you changed minds today. You showed them who we really are. I hope it is enough, Hana said quietly. In her quarters that night, she could not sleep. She kept thinking about that moment in battle when the predator instinct had awakened. It had felt so natural, so right. That scared her more than anything the Council might do. She was learning that being human meant carrying ancient violence inside you and choosing every single day not to let it control you. That was a heavier burden than she had ever imagined. The Council chamber was packed. Every seat filled with representatives from across known space. Word had spread about the vote happening today. This decision would define humanity's place in the galactic community for generations. Hana stood with the other humans, waiting. She had barely slept. Her mind kept replaying the battle, the tribunal, all the words spoken about her species. In 3 days, she had gone from anonymous cargo pilot to the face of humanity's struggle for acceptance. She did not want this responsibility. But she had it anyway. Counselor Hyoran called the session to order. We have debated long into the night, heard testimony from dozens of experts, reviewed the evidence. Now we must decide. The question before us is simple: what are humans? Inquisitor Draven had returned, his arm in a medical brace. He stood to speak. I maintain my position. Humans are dangerous. Yes, they helped us against the Vrokesh, but that only proves how effective they are at violence. Today they fight for us. Tomorrow they might fight against us. We should restrict their movement, limit their numbers in council space, and monitor them closely. Fear speaking, General Song muttered beside Hana, but then something unexpected happened. A Vrokesh appeared at the chamber entrance. He was young for his species, maybe equivalent to a human teenager. His armor was scorched and damaged. He walked with a limp. I am Thrak of the Vrokesh warrior clans, he announced in rough but understandable speech. I was part of the raiding party. I survived because a human chose not to kill me when he could have. The chamber erupted in shocked murmurs. A Vrokesh had never voluntarily appeared before the council before. They were raiders, not diplomats. Thrak continued, his voice harsh but respectful. My people are warriors. We respect only strength. For years we raided council space because you were weak. Easy prey, but the human, he paused. They fight like we do. Strong, smart, brutal. They should have killed me. I was defeated. But the human soldier said, you can surrender. My people do not have that word. Surrender means death, but he meant I could live if I stopped fighting. I did not understand. He explained. I stopped. He gave me medical care. Thrak looked at the humans on the platform. I came to tell the council that my clan will stop raiding. We will talk instead, because humans showed us a different way to be strong. Strong enough to win, but also strong enough to show mercy. This is new to us. We want to learn more. He bowed awkwardly and left. The silence he left behind was heavy with implications. Counselor Hyoran looked thoughtful. The Vrokesh have raided for 30 years. Thousands dead. We could never stop them, only survive them, and now they want peace because humans taught them something new. He turned to the assembly. Perhaps that is the answer to what humans are. They are teachers, or manipulators, Draven argued, earning trust before they strike. How long must we prove ourselves? Taeyang asked, his voice tight with frustration. 20 years in the council. Thousands of peaceful interactions. We saved this station. We showed mercy to enemies. What more do you want? Time, Draven said simply. Centuries. Prove over generations that you can control your nature. No species should have to prove themselves for centuries, said a new voice. Ambassador Yoonji Shin had arrived. Hana had heard of her but never met her. She was the chief human representative, usually working at Earth. The Council admits new species based on current behavior and potential. Humans have shown both. If you judge us only by our genetics, you judge us unfairly. Genetics matter, Draven insisted. They do, Elder Krethos agreed, but they do not define destiny. I have seen species evolve over my lifetime. Some grew more peaceful. Others grew more aggressive. Biology is not fate. Choice is fate, a vote was called. The chamber filled with lights as representatives signaled their decisions. Green for acceptance, red for restriction. The lights flickered across the vast space like stars. Hana held her breath. When the count finished, Councillor Hyoran announced the results. The council has reached a decision. Humanity will not be restricted. However, they will also not remain in their current classification. Hana's heart sank. Not restricted, but not accepted either. Some middle ground that satisfied no one. But Hyoran continued. We are creating a new classification, Guardian Tier. This designation recognizes species with significant combat capability combined with demonstrated moral framework. Humans are the first species to receive this classification. What does that mean? General Song asked. It means responsibilities, Hyoran explained. Guardian Tier species are called upon when the Council faces threats that other species cannot handle. You will serve in peacekeeping forces. You will respond to emergencies. You will be the shield when shields are needed. You want us to be your soldiers, Taeyang said flatly. We want you to be what you already are, Hyoran corrected. Protectors who understand violence well enough to use it sparingly. This designation comes with benefits. Increased trade opportunities. Access to restricted technologies. A permanent seat on security councils. But also obligations. You will train other species. You will share your understanding of ethics in combat. You will help us build defenses against threats like the Vrokesh. Hana listened to the terms. It was not what she had expected. Not simple acceptance, but something more complex. Humans would be valued for exactly the traits that made them scary. There is more, Hyoran said. We need a special liaison. Someone to bridge the gap between human capabilities and council expectations. Someone who has lived both sides of this story. He looked directly at Hana. Ms. Kim, we would like you to serve in this role. Me? Hana's voice came out higher than she intended. I am just a cargo pilot. You are the human who triggered this entire conversation, Hyoran said. You are also the human who fought without losing her conscience. You understand what you are and what you choose to be. That makes you perfect for this work. I do not want to be famous, Hana said quietly. No one asked if you wanted it, General Song said, but not unkindly. Sometimes history picks people. You cannot pick it back. Taeyang put a hand on her shoulder. You do not have to decide now. Think about it. But Hana knew she did not need time. She thought about Tharak, the Vrokesh warrior who came to talk instead of fight. She thought about the security officers from different species who died because they could not coordinate. She thought about the weight of carrying predator genetics and the choice to use them for protection. I will do it, she said. But on one condition. I keep flying. I am not becoming some politician in an office. I want to be out there doing the work. Agreed, Hyoran said. You will operate in the field, a liaison who leads by example. The formal ceremony took 2 hours. Lots of speeches about cooperation and new eras of understanding. Hana barely heard them. She kept thinking about her small cargo ship in the docking bay. That simple life was gone now. She had become something else. Something she was still trying to understand. After the ceremony, Dr. Mirai Choi found her. I am sorry, the doctor said. If I had known the scan would cause all this, it is not your fault, Hana said. The truth was always there. You just found it. What will you do now? What I always did. Fly to places that need help. Deliver what they need. Hana smiled slightly, just with a fancier title now. 3 months later, Hana piloted a new ship. Not a cargo hauler, but a diplomatic courier built for speed and equipped with defensive systems. The Council logo marked its hull alongside Earth's flag. She had been busy. Training sessions with multi-species security teams, meetings with colony governors, and always flying to places where tensions ran high and someone needed to negotiate before fighting started. Today, she was heading to a disputed mining station. 2 species claimed it. Both were preparing weapons. Her job was to talk them down. She was not sure if she could, but she would try. Her communication console beeped. "Courier ship, this is the mining station. Who are you and what do you want?" "This is Hana Kim, Guardian Tier Liaison. I am here to help you avoid a war. We do not need help. We need the other side to leave." "That is exactly why you need help," Hana said. "Can I dock?" "We should talk." A long pause. "Then fine, but come unarmed." Hana smiled. They did not understand yet. She was always armed. Her genetics made sure of that. But she had learned to use that weapon last, not first. As she guided her ship into the docking bay, she felt that familiar coldness. The predator awareness, something was wrong here. She could sense it. But she also felt something else. The choice to walk in anyway. To try words before violence. To be what humans uniquely were. Creatures who carried the instincts of apex predators but chose to be guardians instead. The docking clamps locked on. Hana powered down the engines and checked her diplomatic credentials. She was not a cargo pilot anymore. She was not just a human anymore either. She was a bridge between humanity's violent past and its hopeful future. She was proof that you could carry predator blood and still choose peace. She was something the galaxy had never seen before and still did not fully understand. She was human. And finally, after everything, she understood what that meant. It meant knowing you could hurt people and choosing to help them instead. It meant carrying the weight of 3 extinct apex predators in your DNA and using that strength to protect those weaker than you. It meant being scared of what you might become and choosing to become something better anyway. Hana walked down the ramp into the station. 2 armed groups glared at each other across the docking bay. When they saw her, both reached for weapons. "Hold," she said calmly. "I am not here to fight. I am here to talk. But if you insist on fighting, know this. I carry the genetics of creatures that hunted for millions of years. I understand violence better than you ever will, which is exactly why I am asking you to choose peace instead." The 2 groups looked at her, at the confidence in her stance, at the way she stood without fear between them. They lowered their weapons. "Let us talk," one of them said. Hana nodded and led them to a conference room. As she walked, she thought about that first DNA scan. How a routine procedure had changed everything. How learning what she was had forced her to decide who she would be. She was still learning, still choosing. Every day was a new decision to be a guardian instead of a predator. Some days it was easy. Some days it was hard. But it was always worth it. Behind her, the 2 groups followed. They were going to talk instead of fight. Not because she forced them, but because she showed them a different way. The human way. The way of apex predators who chose peace. The galaxy was still learning what that meant. So was Hana. But they would figure it out together.